Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's update regarding the Alberta wildfires. Apologies, we do not have an ASL interpreter today, but they will be back tomorrow. Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Services Mike Ellis will begin today's update, followed by an update from Colin Blair from the Alberta Emergency Management Agency and Jose St-Ange from Alberta Wildfire. We also have officials from Alberta Education, Agriculture and Irrigation, Seniors, Community and Social Services, as well as Service Alberta, available to answer any technical questions regarding the situation. I'll now turn it over to Minister Ellis to begin today's availability. Can you hear him on the phones or no?
And all the impacted communities are supported during this very difficult time. Although we have seen some lower temperatures and rain in some areas, we again are heading into a very warm period and much drier period. Our wildfire experts and fire crews are ready to respond to any emerging needs that arise over the next few days. But let's all help those efforts by avoiding any activities that might start new fires or make our current situation worse. It is important heading into the weekend that all residents in communities under evacuation alerts should be ready to leave their homes for a minimum of 7 days. Ensure that you have all important medication and documents, as well as food and supplies to support yourself and your family. You should also make sure that your vehicle is fully fueled and ready to go. These fires can move very quickly, and being prepared for rapid changes can make a huge difference. So please allow the Alberta Emergency Alert app and website and your local municipality for evacuation information and available services. In regards to waiving fees to replace ID, as we've seen in past emergencies, evacuees sometimes forget to take their ID with them in a rush to leave their homes. Evacuees of wildfires from April 29th to June 29th who need a new Alberta ID or driver's license are able to replace these documents free of charge in person at a registry office. This will allow them to access any other services that they need to as soon as possible. In regards to farmers, ranchers, and of course livestock, this afternoon I want to be sure to address the concerns of farmers and ranchers regarding their livestock. Farmers and ranchers who have evacuated from their property should register at the reception center identified for their community so that staff may quickly assist them and connect them with the resources that they need. They can also contact their municipality or the Wildfire Resource Line at 310-4455 with agriculture and livestock related questions. The situation, of course, is rapidly changing and is different for farmers and ranchers in each evacuated area. Some rural municipalities have implemented temporary re-entry processes for farmers to check in on livestock and provide feed or water. Implementing a reentry process is at the discretion of the municipality. Reentry processes are based on the municipality's assessment of the fire risk, and they have the authority to decide whether anyone will be allowed to enter into the evacuation zone. Farmers and ranchers who have evacuated from their property should check with their municipality before entering any evacuated area to check in on livestock. Partner organizations like agricultural societies and some auction markets may have additional supports available for farmers and ranchers. Visit alberta.ca/emergency or again call 310-4455 for any more information. Agriculture and Irrigation has been in touch with partner organizations like livestock and crop commissions, agriculture financial services corporation, auction marts, and agricultural societies to share information. We know that this will require a long-term coordinated response. We are continuing to assess the situation as we remain in contact with federal agricultural counterparts and will continue to discuss what might be required from an agricultural perspective. In regards to the military, and regarding the role of the military. As noted the other day, we are now receiving support from the Canadian Armed Forces. The Canadian Armed Forces is supporting basic firefighting duties and mop-up operations. They are also providing airlift resources and increased mobility and logistical responsibilities, such as evacuating isolated communities, offering engineering support, and heavy equipment resources. We will continue to work closely with the Canadian Armed Forces and are conducting significant planning and recon efforts throughout Alberta to determine where they are most needed. In regards to evacuee payments, a few days ago, we announced a one-time emergency financial assistance to residents who have been forced to evacuate due to these wildfires. More than 3,900 applications have been processed so far. $6.8 million in e-transfers has been sent to evacuees, and $570,000 in debit cards have been distributed. For those evacuees unable to receive an e-transfer, debit cards are available at the 16 Alberta Support Centre locations, as well as the Calgary and Edmonton evacuation centres. Red Cross donations. We also announced yesterday that the Government of Canada and the Government of Alberta will each match every dollar donated to the Canadian Red Cross 2023 Alberta Fires Appeal. Anyone wishing to make a financial donation to the 2023 Alberta Fires Appeal can do so online at redcross.ca or again by calling 1-800-418-1111. In conclusion, I just want to sincerely thank all of our first responders. They're working day and night to protect all Albertans and their property throughout this emergency. The situation remains very volatile, and particularly with the rising temperatures, which are imminent. I'd like to once again ask Albertans to listen to their local officials, obey any evacuation orders that you may receive, and please, everyone, please stay safe out there. Thank you, and I'd like now to pass the mic over to Colin Blair to provide an update from Alberta Emergency Management Agency. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Alberta continues to be under a provincial state of emergency, and the Provincial Emergency Coordination Centre remains at level 4. In addition to the provincial state of emergency, there are 19 states of local emergency, as well as 4 band council resolutions, and 10 evacuation orders are in place. The estimated number of evacuees is approximately 16,500, and evacuees have registered at 15 reception centres. If you've been evacuated, then register at the nearest reception center or online. Registering will make it easier for you to get help and resources, and it makes it easier for us to reach you with important information. While the recent rain and cooler weather in parts of Alberta has brought some relief to some areas, we remain in an extremely volatile situation, and the risk of new wildfires remains significant in much of the province. It will take much more than a few scattered showers to change the wildfire situation. Hot and dry conditions are expected to continue over the weekend and into next week. For those of you in a community that's on an evacuation alert, please continue to be prepared in case you are asked to evacuate. I urge you to pack important medication and documents and enough food and supplies for a minimum of 7 days. And people should make plans for their pets. We've heard from concerned people who have had to leave their pets behind when their community was evacuated. If you have left a pet and you need someone to check on it, please contact the SPCA at 1-800-455-9003. I also want to remind everyone who wants to help that the Government of Canada and the Government of Alberta will each match every dollar donated to the Canadian Red Cross 2023 Alberta Fires Appeal. This means that every $1 donated will become $3 to support those affected by the wildfire. Those wishing to make a financial donation to the Alberta Fires Appeal can do so online at redcross.ca or by calling 1-800-418-1111. I will now address a few questions that have been raised over the last 24 hours. I know that there are a lot of questions from evacuees about when they can return to their communities. The timing of re-entry is very dependent on the status of wildfires in the area, and many remain out of control. I realize that it's stressful to be away from your homes and your work, but these orders will remain in place until we know it's safe. Evacuation orders are not made lightly and are in place to protect the people. People should not return to their homes unless their local authorities have given them the go-ahead. I'm asking Albertans to remain vigilant and observe all fire bans. It's important that all Albertans stay connected with their local authorities. So please download the Alberta Emergency Alert app to your mobile device to receive emergency alerts and important information. Tonight, everyone who has the application on their phone will receive an alert for all communities that are still under evacuation order. This means that if you have the application, your phone will receive a notification, but it will not sound the alarm on your phone. This notification is just a reminder for communities that have evacuation orders in place. These are just a few key updates, but a comprehensive list of items is available for all affected communities on alberta.ca/emergency. We're continuing to work very closely with local officials and responders in all affected communities to get personnel, resources, and equipment where they are needed. Finally, I want to highlight that the Government of Alberta is holding a virtual teletown hall for evacuees each evening to answer questions and connect residents to resources. Town halls start at 7:30 p.m. To participate, evacuees can call 1-833-380-0691. Thank you, and I would now like to turn things over to Jose from Alberta Wildfire for more information on the situation.
Thank you, Colin. There are 74 active wildfires in the forest protection area of Alberta, and 20 of them are out of control. So far this year, we've responded to over 435 wildfires that have burned nearly 445,000 hectares. You can get up-to-date numbers by accessing our interactive map on the Alberta Wildfire Status page. Our teams on the ground have been working hard to prepare for more challenging conditions. Firefighters have been building fire breaks around communities and making use of firefighters coming in from outside the province. The wildfire danger is expected to grow in the coming days. We are expecting hot and dry conditions in most of the province, which will make the wildfire danger climb. We're likely to see more intense wildfire activity this weekend and into early next week. Conditions can change quickly, and our fire weather and fire behavior experts are watching them closely. We have seen some lightning in the last few days that could lead to new wildfires. Lightning-caused fires can smolder for days and ignite when the conditions are hot, dry, and windy. Responding to these new wildfires will be a priority. We currently have over 1,000 wildland firefighters, heavy equipment, and helicopter operators responding to wildfires throughout the province. More than 300 wildland firefighters have come from Parks Canada, British Columbia, Quebec, Ontario, Yukon, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and the United States. We are expecting another 200 firefighters to arrive from the United States tomorrow. Military assistance has also been deployed to the Grand Prairie and Drayton Valley areas. Over 200 soldiers are already hard at work, and about 100 more are expected to start working in the coming days, including in the Fox Creek area. They will help with wildfire suppression, mop-up operations, and basic firefighting duties. We are very grateful for the assistance of our partner agencies who have sent people and equipment to help us. Additional crews allow some respite for Alberta firefighters who have been battling these challenging and unprecedented fires for the last 2 weeks. Conditions will be hot and dry this weekend throughout the province. Albertans can do their part to help by respecting the fire ban and off-highway vehicle restriction that is in place for the forest protection area of Alberta. We want our firefighters to be able to focus on the wildfires that are already burning on the landscape instead of responding to new ones. Thank you, and we will now take questions.
All right, we don't appear to have any media in the room, so we're going to go straight to the telephone lines. Operator, could you please put through your first caller?
Thank you, Alex McQuaid, Western Producer.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. And I guess my first question is looking at that response from the agricultural sector. I mean, I've talked to a number of producers up in the region. They're frustrated. They feel they're being treated as a liability instead of an asset, despite the fact they have the experience of fighting fires. They have the proper equipment to fight it. and they have the motivation to fight these fires. What are you doing to integrate this resource into your response?
So, Colin, let's ask Jason Hale,
Oh.
the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, which is why we brought him in today to answer that question. I think it's a two-part question, and we might want to incorporate Josie from Wildfire on this as well.
Thank you. Firefighting is a complicated and dangerous line of work. We want to ensure that people are doing so safely. And while we understand that people do want to take action and protect their properties, we're not in a position where we can easily integrate volunteers into our ranks. If people are interested in helping out, we invite them to please contact us at emergencysupportoffers@gov.ab.ca. We'll assess their qualifications and have those volunteers join our firefighters when it's been deemed that it's safe to do so.
Do you have a follow-up, Alex?
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure you're understanding the situation. I mean, Jason Hale can maybe speak to it because he's seen it. When these situations break out, the whole community goes out and fights this fire. They are not going to stick around and go through a government process to get qualified. They know they're qualified. One of them told me the only way you're going to get him out of that evacuation zone is that you'll have to steal his dead hands out of that place. I mean, do you understand the situation? Do you understand what BC's done regarding the agricultural sector and integrating a protocol with livestock producers to deal with these situations?
All right, I believe Jason Hale is going to come up from Alberta Agriculture.
Yes, thanks for those comments, Alex. And as a rancher myself, I do know the stress involved in these situations. But, you know, we have to remember that there are people within the organizations that have the training. You know, we have to be very cognizant of lives. In the ag industry, we do have special supports. We have AFSC that has a number of programs to help in these situations, dealing with you know, the agri insurance portion, the perennial insurance, the annual insurance. So we do have supports for our producers. We're working very closely with AFSC. They have deadlines that they're looking at extending, programs that we are looking at enhancing. And you know, we as a government will continue to work hand in hand with our ag producers to do what they need, you know, get the supports in place that they need to continue their operations at this time.
All right, operator, could you please put through the next caller?
Thank you, Matt Woodman, CCB.
Hi there. My question is for Minister Mike Ellis. My first one, I'm just curious, right now you're giving out $1,250 to evacuees if they've been out for 7 days or longer. If they are out for longer than 7 days, is there plans to hand out more money? Say if they're out for 14 days, would you double it to $2,500?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to reassess, obviously, as this continues to go on. Again, we're trying to... you know, it's just a rapidly evolving situation. This is why our Emergency Management Cabinet Committee is meeting every morning, getting briefings from all the necessary ministries honestly, if this is something that requires, you know, something to be assessed, then I think we have to take a look at this as a possible option. But I know we have Brad Geddes with Executive Director of Community Social Services here. I think that he might be able to say a few words on that as well.
Good. Thank you, Minister. I would add that there's a number of series of programs that are in place so that it takes into consideration circumstances like this. First point I would share is that there are reception centers that do provide housing, food, medication, and other important resources. Second, there are the affordability payments. We're very fortunate to have a wonderful team that are getting those payments out the door to Albertans. And those are a good bridge because the insurance industry, through a number of homeowner policies, have additional living expenses and additional funds that can help you, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, or longer, as demonstrated in the Fort McMurray fires and other disasters. So again, I would encourage everyone to consider either local resources through 211 or to please call us at 310-4455, and we can lead you to other resources that may be of assistance. Thank you.
Do you have a follow-up question?
I do, actually. This one's on behalf of a colleague of mine. She's doing a story on the Rappel team. She's wondering if you could clarify whether they responded to 2% of fires, or if it was only if that was only the fires they responded to, and could having that team in place this season have made a big difference?
At this time, I'm unable to give more information about the Rappel team and how they work and those numbers, but I invite your colleague to contact the ministry to get a more fulsome answer.
If you send me an email, my information is at alberta.ca/news. I will get back to you on that. Operator, can you put through the next caller, please?
There are no additional calls in the queue at this time.
All right. Seeing none, thank you, everyone. There'll be another update tomorrow.